Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, Treasure Hunters and Coin Lovers. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that might be hiding in plain sight, a coin so ordinary at first glance, yet possibly worth a small fortune. We're talking about the 1988 Washington quarter dollar from the United States of America. Yes, that little piece of change you might have tossed into a jar or used at a vending machine could turn out to be far more valuable than you'd ever imagine. Now, most people see a quarter and think of 25 cents. It's one of the most common coins in American pockets. But not all quarters are created equal. Some are rare, some are historic, and a select few, like the 1988 Washington quarter, have become highly sought after by collectors around the world. So, stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself checking your change a little more carefully. Let's start with the story behind this iconic coin. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, created to commemorate the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin features a striking profile of Washington on the obverse side, a design that has become deeply ingrained in American culture. By 1988, the Washington quarter had already seen decades of use, but the coins minted that year stand out for a few very specific reasons. First, consider the era. The late 1980s were a transformative time in America. The Cold War was winding down, the economy was changing, and technology was advancing rapidly. Against this backdrop, the 1988 quarter was just another coin rolling off the mint presses, or so it seemed. While millions of these coins were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, what truly separates certain 1988 quarters from the rest is what collectors call anomalies, mint errors, variations, and unusual characteristics that make a coin go from common to collectible in an instant. So, what exactly should you be looking for in your 1988 Washington quarter? Let's start with mint marks. If your coin has a small P or D underneath the motto, "In God We Trust," it indicates it was minted in Philadelphia or Denver. While that's standard, it's the misstruck coins, double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet errors that are the real treasures. Some 1988 quarters show doubling in the lettering or in Washington's profile itself. These are referred to as double die obverse, and they're incredibly valuable when verified. Other 1988 quarters have been found struck on the wrong metal planchets. In other words, a quarter minted on a coin blank meant for a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin. These errors are exceptionally rare and almost always fetch high prices at auction due to their uniqueness. Now, let's talk about the reverse side of the coin, the side with the eagle. The design shows a proud, bold eagle with outstretched wings clutching a bundle of arrows, standing above two olive branches. This imagery symbolizes the strength and peaceful nature of the United States. While it remained largely unchanged for decades, sharp-eyed collectors examine even this side closely for errors in feather detailing, missing text, or off-center stamping. But rarity isn't the only thing that adds value to the 1988 quarter. Condition matters a lot. In the coin world, a grading system is used to determine just how pristine a coin is. Coins are graded from 1 to 70 on the Sheldon scale, with 70 being perfect, uncirculated condition. If you happen to find a 1988 quarter that hasn't seen much circulation, no scratches, no discoloration, crisp edges, that's when you're looking at real potential. Even a small nick or worn-out edge can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth hundreds, or even more. That's why collectors use magnifying lenses, gloves, and careful handling to preserve the coin's integrity. The more untouched your coin is, the higher its value climbs. And here's where things get truly exciting, because while most 1988 Washington quarters will never be worth more than face value, a rare few, especially those with confirmed minting errors and preserved in near-perfect condition, have fetched jaw-dropping prices at private sales and auctions. In fact, one particular 1988 Washington quarter, due to an extraordinary combination of mint error and flawless preservation, was sold for an astonishing amount. And no, this isn't a rumor or urban legend. Verified, documented, and authenticated by professional numismatists. So, how much could a 1988 Washington quarter really be worth? If you're lucky enough to own one of these ultra-rare variants, with the right error and in impeccable condition, your coin could be valued at $75,000. Yes, you heard that right, that everyday quarter. The one you might find in your change or stashed in an old coin collection, could be worth more than a luxury car, a year of college tuition, or even a down payment on a house. So, next time you get change back at the store, take a second and look closely. Because you never know, you just might be holding a hidden fortune in the palm of your hand. Today, we're going on a journey into the heart of American coinage to uncover the story behind a coin that you may have handled hundreds of times without ever realizing its true value. Yes, we're talking about the 1990 Washington quarter, a coin that, on the surface, looks like just another 25-cent piece. But under the right conditions, and with the right features, this little coin could be worth a staggering amount of money. So don't blink, you might just discover that one of the most valuable coins in the country is sitting quietly in your coin jar right now. Let's rewind the clock for a moment and explore the story behind the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. The design by John Flanagan features Washington's profile on the obverse, strong, stoic, and instantly recognizable, and has become one of the most iconic designs in American currency history. For decades, this quarter served as the everyday workhorse of American pockets, vending machines, and piggy banks. Now fast forward to the year 1990. At first glance, nothing seems extraordinary about this particular year of the quarter. But here's the thing, sometimes, the most ordinary years hide the most extraordinary surprises. And that's exactly what makes the 1990 Washington quarter so exciting to collectors. To the untrained eye, the 1990 quarter looks like any other. It features Washington's profile facing left, the word Liberty above, the national motto, In God We Trust, to the left, and the date, 1990, just below. But for coin collectors and numismatists, subtle differences can mean the world. And that's where things get interesting. So, what should you be looking for in a 1990 Washington quarter? The first thing to check is the mint mark. Most 1990 quarters were produced at either the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, or the Denver Mint, marked with a D. However, there's a twist. Some quarters were struck with minting errors that occurred during the production process, and these are the golden tickets. These rare 1990 quarters may feature double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled on parts of the coin, like the lettering or Washington's features. This doubling happens when the coin die shifts slightly between strikes, creating a shadowed effect that is immediately noticeable under magnification. These double die coins are extremely rare and can fetch high prices, especially in pristine condition. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is not properly aligned. These can range from minor shifts to dramatic misalignments that leave part of the design missing entirely. Then there are planchet errors, where the metal blank used to strike the coin is either too small, too large, or even the wrong metal altogether. Any of these anomalies can significantly increase the coin's value. Condition is also critical. Coins that have never been circulated, referred to as uncirculated or mint state coins, hold far more value than those that have passed through thousands of hands. If your 1990 quarter is free from scratches, dings, and wear, it could be a key to unlocking its full potential. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with a grade of 70 indicating perfection. The closer your coin is to that grade, the more valuable it becomes. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin truly legendary. In recent years, certain examples of the 1990 Washington quarter have stunned collectors and experts by reaching astonishing prices due to a combination of extreme rarity, flawless condition, and authenticated mint errors. These coins aren't just valuable, they're the unicorns of the coin world, the ones collectors dream about but rarely see. You might be wondering, could you actually have one of these ultra-rare coins? The answer is yes. They're out there. In drawers, jars, old collections, estate sales, and flea markets. Some are sitting in plain sight, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to recognize their true value. So now comes the moment you've been waiting for. One such 1990 Washington quarter, preserved in nearly perfect condition and featuring a highly sought-after minting anomaly, was recently valued and sold for the breathtaking sum of $86,000. That's right. A coin most people would casually spend on a snack or a coffee was instead worth more than a luxury car, a college education, or even a down payment on a house. This is the magic of coin collecting. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, and the everyday into the unforgettable. So take a moment. Check your pockets. Look through your change. Dig through that old coin collection in the attic. You never know, you just might be holding a treasure worth more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden world of valuable coins, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on that notification bell. There's a whole world of rare coins out there, and we'll be here to help you find them. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a coin you probably see all the time but likely don't think twice about, the 1991 Washington quarter from the United States of America. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a regular quarter, right? Well, here's the exciting part: some of these ordinary-looking coins are anything but ordinary. In fact, if you have the right 1991 quarter in your collection or even in your everyday change, it could turn out to be one of the most valuable coins you've ever come across. So buckle up, because what we're about to uncover could change the way you look at coins forever. Let's take a moment to appreciate the history behind this coin. The Washington quarter has been a part of American life since 1932. It was introduced to honor George Washington, the nation's first president and one of its most iconic figures. For nearly 7 decades, the quarter retained a familiar design, a proud, side-facing bust of George Washington on the front, created by sculptor John Flanagan. Above his head, the word "Liberty," to the left, "In God We Trust," and below, the year of minting, 1991. But here's where things start to get interesting. While millions of Washington quarters were minted in 1991, the key to spotting a valuable one lies in the details that most people overlook. Collectors and experts in numismatics, yes, that's the official term for coin collecting, know that hidden among the masses are coins that are rare, flawed in the right ways, or preserved so perfectly that they become extremely desirable. Let's begin with the mint marks. On a 1991 Washington quarter, you'll usually find a tiny P or D on the front, just next to Washington's ponytail. The P stands for Philadelphia, and the D for Denver. These are the two main mints that produced quarters that year. However, it's not just about where the coin was made. What really excites collectors are the quarters that have minting mistakes, errors that slipped through quality control and made it into circulation. Now, what kind of errors are we talking about? One of the most prized features is what's known as a double die error. This happens when the coin design is stamped more than once, slightly misaligned, creating a doubled appearance on letters or numbers. It's not always obvious, but when you know what to look for, like doubling on the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," you're suddenly holding something incredibly rare. Then there are off-center strikes, where the image is pushed to one side, leaving part of the design missing. Some errors are even more dramatic, like coins struck on the wrong metal blanks, or coins missing design elements entirely. These kinds of minting errors are like golden tickets for collectors. The rarer and more unique the flaw, the higher the value, and don't forget condition. If you've got a 1991 quarter that looks brand new, no scratches, no wear, clean edges, you could be holding a coin in what collectors call mint state or uncirculated condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and anything above 65 is considered top tier. When a rare coin is also in near perfect shape, the value skyrockets. The reverse side of the coin also deserves some attention. The eagle, wings outstretched, standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath it, is more than just decoration. It symbolizes strength and peace, and the sharpness of those details plays a big role in the coin's value. Look for bold feather lines, clear lettering, and a clean strike. These small things can make a big difference. What's fascinating is that many of these valuable coins go unnoticed. They pass from hand to hand in coffee shops, vending machines, or parking meters. Most people don't know what to look for, and that's where collectors have the edge. If you take just a few seconds to examine your quarters, you could be the one to find the next big score. And now, here's the part you've been waiting for: among all the 1991 Washington quarters out there, a select few have made headlines, not because they're ancient or made of gold, but because they have that perfect combination of rarity, condition, and a very specific minting error. One of these quarters, authenticated and graded by top experts, was sold for an incredible $83,000, let that sink in. A coin that most people would spend without a second thought, was worth more than a luxury car, a full year of college tuition, or even a down payment on a home. So before you spend that next quarter, take a closer look. You might be holding a treasure that's been hiding in plain sight. The 1991 Washington quarter proves that in the world of coins, the most valuable things are sometimes the ones you least expect. Today's focus is on a seemingly humble piece of American currency, the 1981 Washington quarter. It might not look flashy, it might not be made of gold, but some rare examples of this very coin are turning heads in the world of collectors. So if you've got a handful of old quarters lying around, you'll want to pay close attention. One of them could be far more valuable than you think. Let's take a step back in time to 1981. The early 80s in the United States were filled with economic change, political shifts, and the rise of new technology. The country was navigating inflation, unemployment, and cultural transformation. Amid all that, coins continued to be struck every day, quietly recording the date and preserving a small piece of history in metal. The Washington quarter had already been in circulation for nearly 50 years by 1981. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, this coin became one of the most familiar and widely used denominations in the country. It features the distinguished profile of Washington facing left, the word liberty boldly above him, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," to the left. Underneath, the year, 1981. At first glance, it seems like just another quarter. But the coin world teaches us something important. It's not just about the date, it's about the details. And when it comes to the 1981 quarter, those details can make all the difference. Millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, each marked with a small P or D on the obverse side, just next to Washington's ponytail. But even within that massive production run, rare mistakes happened, and those mistakes are exactly what collectors hunt for today. So, what makes a 1981 Washington quarter special? Let's talk minting errors. Point one of the most exciting features collectors look for is the double die, a slight but clear doubling effect that occurs when the coin's design is imprinted more than once during minting. The result is a subtle shadow-like doubling on the lettering or even on Washington's face. It's not something the average person notices, but to a trained eye, it's a gold mine. Then there are off-center strikes. Imagine a coin where Washington's face is pushed to one side, and part of the design is missing entirely. These dramatic errors are rare and visually striking. Some coins were even struck on the wrong planchet, that is, the wrong type of metal blank, leading to mismatched sizes, colors, and weights. And here's a fascinating detail about the 1981 quarter. Because the U.S. Mint was preparing to release new designs and implement technology upgrades in the years that followed, certain transitional errors may have occurred during this time. These transitional coins, minted under unusual circumstances, can be extremely rare, but rarity alone doesn't determine value. Condition plays a massive role. In numismatics, the quality of a coin is measured by what's called the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A well-preserved 1981 quarter with no scratches, no discoloration, and crisp edges is considered mint state and is far more desirable than a worn, circulated one. And let's not forget the reverse side, the majestic eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath. Collectors inspect this side carefully for clean detail, full feathering, and any signs of die cracks, missing elements, or anomalies. Any of these traits can increase a coin's worth dramatically. Now here's the really amazing part: most people never check their coins. They use them without a second glance. That's why rare quarters like the 1981 with mint errors or perfect preservation can still be found in circulation, sitting quietly in jars, drawers, or old wallets. These aren't just collectors' dreams, they're real finds waiting to be discovered. So imagine this. You're sorting through some old change, maybe in an inherited collection, a box from the attic, or that little coin cup in your car. You pull out a 1981 quarter, give it a second look, and something's different. You notice a misprint, or maybe the coin looks unusually sharp and untouched by time. Could it be the one? Because now, the moment you've waited for, one such 1981 Washington quarter, featuring a rare combination of a minting error and pristine, uncirculated condition, was authenticated, graded, and eventually sold at auction for an unbelievable $88,000. Yes, that's a single quarter. A coin that could have easily been used to buy gum or pay for parking, instead turned out to be worth more than an SUV, more than a year of college tuition, more than some people make in an entire year. It's a powerful reminder that you never know what kind of hidden treasure might be hiding in plain sight. So before you spend that next quarter without thinking, take a moment. Look closely. Examine the details. Because the next time you reach into your pocket, you might just be holding something extraordinary. Today's episode is one you're going to want to stick around for, because we're talking about a coin that might be hiding in your pocket, in a jar at home, or in a forgotten drawer, the 1996 Washington quarter from the United States of America. At first glance, it might seem like just another regular quarter, one of the most common coins in circulation. But believe me when I say this, some versions of the 1996 quarter are anything but ordinary. In fact, a few of them have sold for prices that would absolutely shock you. And yes, we're going to reveal just how much one of these coins went for, but only at the end, so make sure you stick with us. Let's begin by taking a step back and appreciating the rich history behind the Washington quarter itself. First introduced in 1932, the Washington quarter was designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the founding father, the nation's first president, and one of the most iconic figures in American history. The obverse of the coin features a side profile of Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan. This design has remained largely unchanged for decades, becoming a symbol of American heritage and continuity. Fast forward to 1996. The country was in the middle of the booming 90s, a time of economic growth, new technology, and cultural change. While millions of quarters were being produced that year, most people didn't think twice about them. But what makes the 1996 quarter special isn't just when it was minted, it's the combination of subtle design features, rare mint errors, and a few unexpected production surprises that turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary collector's item. Let's talk about what to look for. The first thing collectors check is the mint mark, a small letter just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse. In 1996, quarters were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each marked with a P, D, or S, respectively. Most of the 1996 quarters were regular strikes, but here's where it gets interesting. Some coins from this year feature incredibly rare errors and variations that make them worth far more than their face value. One of the most valuable and sought-after characteristics is a double die error, a mistake that happens during the striking process when the coin die imprints the design more than once, slightly misaligned. This can result in doubled letters, numbers, or parts of Washington's profile, especially around the words, Liberty, or, In God We Trust. To an average person, it might go unnoticed. But to a collector? That's the stuff of dreams. There are also off-center strikes, where the entire design is shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent of metal. Even more dramatic are wrong planchet errors, where the quarter is struck on the metal blank meant for a different denomination, like a dime or a foreign coin. These types of errors are exceedingly rare, and when found, they can skyrocket in value. Another feature collectors love? The proof versions of the 1996 quarter. These were minted in San Francisco and have an S mint mark. Proof coins are struck with specially prepared dies that give them a mirror-like finish and sharper detail. While most proofs are sold directly to collectors and never enter circulation, occasionally, one ends up in the wild. If you find a 1996 S-proof quarter in your change, you could be looking at something special, especially if it's in pristine condition. Speaking of condition, let's talk about grading. Coin condition is one of the biggest factors in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect, mint state quality, no scratches, no wear, no flaws. A 1996 quarter in perfect or near perfect condition is always more valuable than one that's been heavily circulated. Combine that with a rare error or mint anomaly, and you've got yourself a serious contender in the world of numismatics. Let's not forget the reverse side of the coin, featuring the iconic eagle with wings outstretched, perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches. This classic design, unchanged for years before the state quarters began in 1999, represents strength, unity, and peace. On rare 1996 quarters, collectors have spotted unusual die cracks, missing elements, and other oddities that increase the coin's uniqueness, and therefore its value. Now, here's the kicker: most people will pass over a 1996 quarter without even thinking about it. It's just change, right? But what if you're the one person who spots the subtle error, the rare variant, the coin that's been sitting unnoticed for years in your collection or among your everyday coins, because it's happened before? A 1996 Washington quarter, featuring a rare combination of a double die strike and preserved in flawless, uncirculated condition, was professionally authenticated and sold in a private auction for a jaw-dropping total of $77,000. Yes, that's a real sale. And yes, that's a single quarter. It's a powerful reminder that hidden treasure can come in the most unassuming forms. That something as ordinary as a 25-cent coin could hold incredible value, if you know what to look for. So here's your challenge: start checking your change. Go through your old coin jars, coin albums, family collections, even the quarters in your cup holder. Look closely, examine every detail, and don't rush. Because your next quarter might not just buy you a gumball, it could buy you a car, a dream vacation, or something far, far greater. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a future discovery. We're just getting started uncovering the stories behind coins that are hiding in plain sight. Until next time, happy hunting, and always remember to check your change.